Today we're going to talk about using Goodreads as a Web 2.0 application in the classroom. Goodreads is a social network for readers. With Goodreads, users can rate and recommend and review books that they've read. They can update their friends on what they've read. And they can track the reading over time. Now, when we talk about friends on Goodreads, we're also talking about classmates. We're going to go ahead and look at Goodreads right now. After you've logged on, you get a home screen with your recent updates from what your friends have been doing. Goodreads is very interactive. It's a social network, much like Facebook, but just for your reading. So when you log in, you see what your friends have been reading. If your friends have blogs, it'll show you what they've posted. It'll tell you what they might have added as what things they want to read, as well as rate things they've finished reading. Now, so you can imagine how powerful this could be in a classroom with 20 students all logged on, their students as friends together, really getting to see what they've read and really coming to terms with what it means to be a reader for the rest of their lives. This is clearly, in terms of the 4 C's, you can see this is both collaboration and communication. But there's also an aspect of critical thinking. In Goodreads, you can not only rate reviews with this 5-star system, but also write reviews of the books. And I'll show you that in a few minutes. I want to point out that according to Wendell and Zink, 69% of students are more likely to read a book if it's recommended by a friend. So you can see how powerful Goodreads can be as it allows for book recommendations. I'm going to go ahead and take you through a few of the features in Goodreads. This here, like as I said, is the home screen. But you can go to your books here. I'll go under my books. It should pull up as the computer works. The books that right now, these are the books I've read recently. You can see it simply gives a rating system, the ratings I've given these books. But with your ability to tag books, you can also look at the books you're currently reading and the books you want to read. So this is the cataloging feature of the site. You can list all the books you'd like to read, keep track of them, as well as find these books. For instance, The Avian My Uncle Flew. I can click on that layer to the book's record and use this library feature to find out if my local library has that book. It'll pull up WorldCat, and I can see that yes, I can get this book at Northwest Georgia Regional Library, but it doesn't look like I can get it at my local libraries. In the record, you can also see if any of your friends have read the book, and if not, just the community of worldwide users. I can pull up a better example and show you. Let's see. Here's one of my favorite books. I've already read it, but if a student looked into this book, they would see that any of their friends or their teacher, if they were also linked to read the book, what they thought. So I gave it 5 stars, and looks like most of my friends. And so here's a good example. Travis here gave the book 5 stars, wrote a review. Here, Elizabeth Bird gave it 5 stars, wrote a review, and then 17 people commented on that review. So imagine this is your classroom. One student reads a great new book. You give it 5 stars. Other kids read the book. They comment on it. They're having a dialogue. They're having communication here. And you can really see how the critical thinking come into play as what they think about the book, how they communicate. It's really powerful. According to Thomas, another article I read showed that online discussion forums increase participation and collaborative thinking through a provision of asynchronous and non-hierarchical and reciprocated communication environment. Goodreads offers these online communications all within the realm of this reading social network. Let's see what else I can show you here. What you would do as a teacher or as a librarian if you want to do this whole school is you would create a group. This would keep Goodreads a little more secure and private in the school setting. So here you have groups, and there's different groups that exist already in Goodreads, but you can, following this create a group link, you can create a group, and it's a pretty powerful tool. So if I wanted to say, how about Mr. Carpenter's first grade class? And I would just describe it a Goodreads group for my classroom. Okay. You can actually add rules. Maybe I would write, please use appropriate language in all reviews and content. I EB Civil. Okay. So here I can choose what kind of group this is. This is a student group, and it's a class. I might tag this with my school. And here's where you really want to focus in on. Now you can make public groups that anyone can join, but with a classroom, especially elementary, middle, even high school, you'd want to make your group secret. That way, the students in your class, you can add them to your group. No one else can have access to them. No one else is going to see how they're communicating, which for privacy and security's sake makes a lot of sense. Then you have, as the classroom teacher, you could set up your moderation levels, whether or not anyone can add books to the group. If you want to create events or even polls, which is fun, you can ask kids what are they reading, what's the best book they've read this year, etc. You can give a geographical location, obviously. And if there's a class website, a class blog, you could add that there. And then group discussion emailings. If you, as the creator, if you want to get everything your students are writing, all the dialogue they're having, you can get that all those comments through digest, emails, a notification, or just not worry about it and check it on your own. So those are the groups. They're really powerful and they're really useful in the classroom. Go back to my home screen here. Show you a few of the other fun things you can do. As you can see here on the side here, I've got a currently reading list. So if I wanted to add a new book, for instance, I just started Sugar by Joel Parker Rhodes. I could just look up Sugar, and it doesn't seem to be appearing, so I might add the author as well. And here it is. Joel Parker Rhodes, Sugar. So if I've looked up a book that I want to read, or I'm beginning to read, I can quickly see which of my friends have read it. Oh, so it looks like it might not be that great of a book. I can also see what the world as a whole, all the community has rated it, and any list the book might be on. Now, that's a great function of Goodreads, the lists. It lets users create lists, rank books, etc. So if I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and read this, I can change it from want to read to I read the first chapter yesterday, so I will place this book in currently reading, and it's added to my shelf. Now, if this book was in a certain catalog or a certain type, I could tag it with any user-defined tag. For instance, I tag all the audiobooks I've listened to as audio, so I know that I didn't actually read them in book form. So that's how you add a book to Goodreads. It's pretty straightforward. Anyone familiar with most social media applications will find it pretty useful. There's also a web app, or a mobile app that I can't show you in this screencast, but it's very powerful. It's really great. Students can update what they've read. They can do the reviews. They can do the stars. They can communicate, send messages. They can also use their the camera phone's barcode scanner to scan the barcode on the back of the book and instantly find it and add it to their reading library instead of typing in the title, which of course kids would love doing, saving them some time. So yeah, I can show you a few more of the fun things that the kids get a kick out of. If you go back into your books, you can get a list of books, but you can also get some interesting statistics, as well as things like the most read authors, or you can get a shelf cloud if you've got a lot of shelves. But this here shows simply the books by year, but I also have to look at number of pages one's read, or the publication. Books by publication year is kind of a fun graphic. It shows you, as you've read, what year they've landed on. It's kind of giving me a weird scale here. It used to not be so broad. Let's see. Go back to Goodreads. I don't use a lot of shelves, but I can want to show you how useful tagging can be. So I'm going to go to Toby's bookshelf here. Yeah, he's got a lot of different bookshelves. So as he reads, he puts books in different categories. He's a librarian, so he might catalog his wordless picture books or his middle grade novels, books he thinks have won Caldecott's, possible nomination books, historical fiction, easy readers. Really useful. You can see as a librarian, if you had a Goodreads account and you really did a lot of useful tagging, when a student wants a fantasy novel, you can check your Goodreads. You can have them go check your Goodreads, check what I've read in fantasy, and take a look at the books. So whenever you look at a friend's library, though, you'll see that your Goodreads allows you to compare what you've read with what they've read. So here in Kobe's fantasy books, we both really appreciated Holly Black's Doll Bones. You see here, his are the red stars, and mine are the orange. These are what So the books I've read that he's read, you're getting a comparison here. So if you get a whole class using Goodreads, they can really do a great job collaborating. They can do a great job communicating with each other about books they're reading. There are a few drawbacks, of course. It's a wide open internet. Though you've created a private group, those students are still seeing what's out there in the whole ecosystem of the system. So you want to be concerned about privacy, about appropriate behavior, but you want to be speaking to that and discussing that with the students anyway. So it's a great way to get their feet wet in social media in a relatively safe environment. But it certainly would be nicer if Goodreads would go ahead and create an education-only space that would totally keep them away from those those who might not be in education, who could put some things a little less appropriate on here, and maybe an education system could get rid of these intrusive ads. So that would be nice. That would be a great next step if Amazon, who just purchased the program, could employ. But yeah, that's Goodreads. I think it's really useful. It's got a great future for in classroom use. I think kids could really get a lot out of using it, become great readers, and get excited about reading. It's certainly better than having them take 10-question AR tests. Thanks for listening.